Start.
So guys, we're at the talk that I think everybody's been waiting for, which is between Ruchita and me. So all my fans and everyone who's been eagerly waiting to know what exactly I've been eating and all my favorite foods, and of course a lot of tips from I think the maestro herself, which is Ruchita. So yeah, let's just have like an impromptu casual chat about foods and foods that I think all of us love, which most dietitians say don't eat.
So what are the foods that people say don't eat, but you've been eating?
I know everyone must be thinking that I'm overeating now, but I think the idea is that I think which we both believe in is not to overeat. Just because you're pregnant, or just because you feel that you're carrying another person and you have the liberty to have 20 chapatis, which you can't do. And I think Ruchita also believes that if you stick to the fact that whatever you've been doing, even before you were pregnant, the idea of gaining weight or your body type changing will not happen. She was always like, just stick to whatever you've been doing, keep it as normal as what you've been doing for the last 10 years, what we've been eating. And that's why I think the plan that we've been following has been exactly like, it's been quite basic, of course, maybe an extra paratha, but that I think is allowed.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you're hungry for it.
Yeah.
So, aren't you bored of doing this with me all the time?
No, I think that, the fact is that
because I'm not bored.
Yeah, you're not bored, but it's also that we get to inspire so many people, so many young girls who want to, so many people who want to know things about good food, about how to look, your skin. Everybody's so concerned these days that how do you keep your skin like this, or how do you maintain your weight, or how there's so many questions. So if you can inspire people, if you can talk about to help other people, I think that it's a great way. I don't think it's a boring way.
But aren't you bored of the question of constantly, what is it that you're eating? What are you eating?
Yeah, that is something, but now because nobody believes that, then, whether it's, right now it's like I'm constantly craving a lot of Karela, which is quite like, very, very different. And in fact, I really like the taste.
Right.
I enjoy the taste of Karela, because many people say that add a little bit of sugar to it, so it, that bitterness kind of goes. But in fact, I don't like that. I like the fact that it has a slightly bitter, pungent taste to it. So it's something that I enjoy, and I think it's extremely rich in iron, and it's got so much of benefits in it. So I'm enjoying all the vegetables. Today's lunch was Lauki Matar.
Ah, that's amazing.
Quite amazing, huh?
So it's also your birthday 2 days later.
Yeah.
So, one of the gifts that I have gotten for her is another Lauki. Because
Okay, I think everybody was hoping it would be a chocolate cake or some sort of a dessert, but it's fine. And also, I'm also very strangely enjoying a lot of Indian sweets more than the pastries and the cakes and the whipped cream and things like that. I think that I'm eating more home-based kind of made, like sweets, whether it's the suji ka pedas, or whether it's made
laddu,
but made at home, or besan ka laddu. So I'm trying to keep it like with a mixture of two grains, whether it's suji and gur or besan and gur. So I think I'm trying to be as good and healthy, which is good.
Of course. So one of the main reasons why you're enjoying all of the homemade mithai and stuff is because, homemade mithai, unlike all of the Western diets, Western mithai, is actually low on the glycemic index. It actually has blood sugar regulating properties. It actually allows your iron and calcium and all of the minerals to really reach your various cells that require energy at that time. And therefore, I think during pregnancy, one also craves for things that are actually healthy for you, because I guess you're more intuitive at this time than at any other point of time in your life. I think that's also the reason why you're craving the Karela, because Karela is also known for its blood sugar regulating properties, so it will actually make you feel much more stable in your brain, in your head, in your moods and stuff. So I guess it's important for all of us as women to learn from someone like Kareena that one must commit oneself to eating right and to a good lifestyle way before we get pregnant. I think too many women
There's
wait.
also another pregnant woman in the room.
Ah.
But I think I think nearly there.
No.
No?
I put on a lot of weight, but I'm due December.
Oh, that's great. Due December, mid-December.
No, 30th, 31st.
And-
December. But you're bigger than me. No, but that's fine. It's different. That's what I said. No two pregnancies are the same.
Yeah, true.
No? I don't think it can.
I'm trying to eat healthy. The thing is, I didn't have any nausea or nothing. So in the first 3 months itself, I gained like some 4 kilos. You know, when people generally lose weight. And I've been enjoying everything. Like, nothing which I'm not liking, except sweets and fats. I'm not eating any sweets.
Yeah. But you're enjoying the pizzas and the burgers. And
No, not on that, just normal food.
Normal
Yeah,
food.
It's just, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. The two bodies are completely different. No? Their reaction is totally different. To different foods, which is great.
Yeah, so I really think that a diet therefore should really be individualized, because a lot of times people are looking at what is it that their favorite star is eating and then just kind of blindly copying that versus really copying the essence of what their star is doing. So isn't that important that they actually work at following your discipline and your commitment to eating more local and seasonal foods?
No, of course, absolutely. I think a good diet is a very personal experience.
Yeah.
Like, being a mother is a personal experience. Everybody's like, oh, are you getting any tips from so and so? Are you getting? But they're not understanding that it's your own journey, and even your journey with food is a very personal thing. It's something that might suit me, not necessarily suits another person. So
Right.
you have to find out the foods that you enjoy eating, which suits your body, and then of course you can plan a meal plan through that.
Right. But do you also think that it takes a certain kind of confidence to really just stick to eating your home-based food or your local food? Because a lot of times people tend to believe that if you're eating everything that's cooked at home, if you're eating everything that's a local native ingredient, then you're doing something which is which has a poor image or like has lower prestige versus really eating something more
Goji
exotic.
berries.
Yeah, goji berries and chia seeds.
I guess that when I don't know, I think that's I don't know. I don't eat either of them, so
Right.
and I can't. But I think that is because I think people feel that if you're spending that much money, and it's come from the West, it's way cooler and
Right.
something that that okay, it's going to work.
Right.
Because the DNA that the bodies that are in the West, it's just that because their bloodstream is so different to ours. All their life they've been given salmon and veggies to eat.
Right.
So their body has got accustomed to that. Dinner is going to be a hot meal and lunch is going to be a salad or a soup and a salad or a sandwich, or because there they don't have somebody who's constantly cooking, whether it's a housewife, whether it's that basic sabzi, roti, dal ka concept wahan nahi hai. So obviously but for us we do give our kids that.
Right.
4-5-year-old kids are eating ghee roti.
Absolutely.
Ghee dalo and sabzi khao. So their body is trained to that metabolism,
Right.
which I think people don't understand, and which they kind of feel that now is the time that we should be eating the because these goji berries are coming from London and wherever,
And what about turmeric latte?
Yeah, what is all this? I've not even heard of this. A new one?
Yeah. So it's haldi doodh, but it became like the big rage in the West. And then after it became a big rage in the West, then everyone in India is trying to make it and have it. So we've always had haldi doodh, but we are constantly waiting for the West to approve of something before we eat that. And I think that's where you have made a remarkable difference, because I don't think that before Kareena came, on the scene and really started you are, I think, the most local champion of what the UNFAO currently talks about, and they talk about food systems. So they're talking that we should not really be looking at food as protein, carbohydrate and fat, and instead we should be looking at food as farmer, trader, consumer.
Right.
Eat things which promote not just your own health but also the health of your local economy, so that you don't have malnourishment deaths, you don't have farmer suicides, and eat things.
Because not everybody can afford to
Yeah.
buy chia seeds or goji berries.
And you don't even need to buy it because ecologically,
If it is
locally
if it's locally
available.
available for them, then they should. Or quinoa for that matter.
Yeah.
Which is, everybody's swearing by it.
Right.
No?
I know. I remember.
But not Rujuta.
Not Karina.
Yeah. Most definitely. But I don't know, I think the concept is like, which we discussed that, when you gave me jawar roti to eat and you were like, just have it. And, suddenly I read like, Gwyneth Paltrow's interview where they're talking about that sorghum is now the biggest thing that has hit the West. And you're like, yeah, but this is jawar roti which we've been eating forever only. So I don't understand why it's become such a big thing. And I was like, oh, I didn't even like connect or think,
Correct. I think because eating right and looking good has to become an integral part of your life, just like it's become for yours.
Absolutely. It's like breathing, it has to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to eat and this is, what I'm going to stay away from. But I mean, like, I have to say that, but yes, it's not like you're saying that you should eat everything.
Right.
You don't give, I've seen Saif's been on quite a strict plan. It's not like, you're allowing him to eat desserts, or he's binging on like chocolates or midnight snacking or something. Yes, there is a 2-hourly process, 2-3 hours, but it's not like you're saying that okay, have a slice of cheesecake or have a this. There are certain restrictions which I think people need to know, that there are certain restrictions, because they sometimes have this thing that no, Rujuta has said that we should eat everything, but I'm like, that's not, it doesn't mean everything. Like, that's not it.
Yeah. I think people believe what they would like to believe more than really bothering to find out what it's all about. So, and every time that I tell people that, look, listen, it's really just about keeping it basic, eat what is in season. Then I guess the main question is, but what is in season, because today everything is available at any point of time. So we've now started a very interesting project, from where I showed you those red okras. So we do something called as the Sonave Community Farming Project, where we actually take people to the farm once every month, and they learn about farming practices, they learn about what is in season, what is not in season, because these are things, I guess, that need to become a part of our school curriculum.
Right.
We cannot wait to become a fat teenager to learn, okay, what is it that I should be eating now? It has to be taught to us like the way we are taught that we should brush our teeth every day, we should cut our nails once every week. Similarly, we should be eating what is in season, what is local to our country, to the region that we live in. Because if our diets are not diverse, if our diets are just like each other, then we are actually going to make a very poor choice, not just for our health but also in terms of ecology. I mean, coming back to quinoa, one of the things that's not known about quinoa is that quinoa now has mafias. Quinoa now has, like, there is something called as a quinoa war that happens because there are just so many people across the globe who are wanting to eat quinoa versus really just sticking to their local grains like rice or jawar or bajra ya makai or wheat. So I think those kind of things we don't really bother about, and we only constantly bother a lot about eating what is looking good on the surface versus really what is rich in its ingredients, what is rich in its nutrients. And I think that's where you've made a big difference. Because nowadays when I'm on a flight and I see people open and eat makhana, I'm like, that's us.
The whole world is like makhana as a snack. So that, we have made a few things popular, but I hope that eating rice, a little bit of ghee for the skin, for the hair, I have seen a difference. So, I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong in that. In fact, I really enjoy that little ghee ka tadka that comes.
Do you know that today ghee is amongst the biggest selling items even in India? Are you getting any royalty out of that?
I think I should be, because I'm always, in fact, the one that you send me also, I keep telling you that is so, it's so tasty, and in fact children, they are used to having it because they anyway start having it at a young age.
Of course.
From the age of 1 and 2 they start ki, thoda sa ghee dal do chawal mein, ya thoda sa ghee roti pe. But the idea is that then if you're trained from birth then automatically there's no question of saying that okay, I'm going to put on weight, I'm going to gain weight.
Right. And what we also know now is that one of the main reasons why post-pregnancy women were put on a whole lot of ghee is because ghee also has the ability to mobilize all of our stubborn fat stores. So it can actually help us lose weight from the areas that we are actually looking to lose weight, which I think is great. And it also enhances the taste of your food, so it's not like you're compromising on your food and therefore losing weight. You're enhancing your food and also enhancing the way you look. No, after this she will, after she listens to
I never like ghee. I don't like the smell of ghee, unfortunately.
Your child will like it now, because by that time Kareena would have made it like very popular. When no one was eating ghee before you started eating ghee, no one was eating khichdi, no one was eating bhakri. Now all of a sudden this has gotten a glam image thanks to you.
That's true.
So you've been like a big champion, I think, in that sense, and we should all really
now it's like I actually love my basic Indian food. And I think you were the one who said that there should be not more than 3 things on your plate. Yeah.
All the good things we've only said.
Yeah. I think that's something that then we try to keep at home. That it should either be like, whether even if it's like a palak paneer and a roti and an achar, so that's like 3 things. So I always tell Seth, I'm like, that's 3 things, don't cross more than 3 things. And he's like, oh, but I'll have this salad also, that also. I'm like, no, she says 3 things. So he's got his mind tuned to the fact that now he's like, okay, if I'm having the achar, then I can't have this. The whole day he's calculating what he's supposed to have. So I think that also helps a lot, keeping these basic rules in mind.
Right. So, are you playing dietitian to Seth?
But he doesn't trust me. I keep telling him that what should I eat now? I don't want to eat this. Then I'll give him an alternative and say that okay, fine, have a bowl of makhana. No, but Rujuta hasn't told me that I can eat it. I said, but I am telling you that I can eat it. He's like, no, you don't know anything. I said, I know exactly what to eat when.
Yeah, millions of people are following my diet.
He doesn't believe me then. He's like, no, I don't know.
But he's being a good husband. A husband who doesn't believe his wife is a good husband.
Yeah, see, he's just refusing to, But he's been following it really well, and he's looking super fit, and he's looking great, and he's enjoying, the diets that you've given. But obviously, then suddenly he'll randomly call you up and tell you that now I want to eat this. And when you say yes, I've already said yes, you can. Then he'll recheck with you, and then he'll say, oh yeah, she said yes. I said, yeah, I told you, didn't have to call her up.
No, but I also think one of the reasons why I'm still in business is because you've not become a dietitian as yet.
Would be, huh?
Oh yeah.
But now I think that now you never know. But see, I'm anyway giving tips to so many people.
Correct. So I better learn acting now.
So many people anyway call me. They think that I'm your assistant. Rujita is not giving an appointment. Can you call her? I'm like, listen, I can't call her. This is her business now. It's also like, she'll give it to you when she's free and whatever. So I think we should take the load off. That much we can do. They can come to me then and I can give them a diet. Yeah, paratha in the morning, nariyal pani after that, then sabzi for lunch. Then she'll say have the bowl of grapes. Then in the evening you can have a cheese toast, and then in the night and dinner is always like either khichdi or curry or just normal kind, dal, chawal, sabzi. So see, I know all the diets. I've just given out the biggest diet.
I can't take the load off you because people keep calling me also and saying, will she endorse this? Will she act in this? Will you send her the script? And I can't even say to them, okay, let me act instead.
Yeah, try that. But I think our diet, when we were really trying to lose weight that time, that was a little different, no?
Yeah, that used to be.
It was a little strict. We've also had diets which have been slightly stricter than diet that we are probably following. Obviously not now, but
for the
normally.
Yeah, of course. And I guess that's also because you really had to play a certain role and look a certain
So for that,
way.
there is different kind of where you were very like, you know, we have to finish dinner at like around 7:30 and not nothing after that, but we can't have dinner like, you know, that late. So it was always like, I remember during Tashan we were eating dinner very early. You were always like, you have to finish the meal by 7:30 at best, and then I used to hate it because I was always in the habit of eating at 9:30, 10.
Well, I never realized you were hating it.
Yeah, I was, and then I would ask her, but what do I have at 9:30, 10? And she would be like, yeah, I think a glass of milk is fine, and go to sleep at 10. And I would be like, no, give me something, give me this. And I think that's when makhana was discovered. Because I think that we didn't milk a glass of milk for so long and so
Glass
many
of
years.
milk, I think, was Tashan.
Yeah.
And makhana was Chammak Challu.
Yeah.
Makhana was Chammak
It
Challu.
started from then.
Yeah. So now everyone's selling makhana.
Yeah, now to me Patel shows is
Yeah.
rocking. They have started now. People have started those packet wala makhanas because somebody bought it at my shoot and I was like, don't eat this. This is rubbish. It's not good. But they're like, no, but this is makhana. I was like, yeah, but it's packed and it's like, you know, it's got so much of
It's not
preservatives
roasted
and
and ghee at home.
yeah. So I was like, I said, make it at home and then it's different.
Yeah. You know what's the latest superfood now? It's the sattu drink. So sattu drink is basically, I think, chana atta and wheat, and then you make it into a liquid. So pretty much like a homemade laddu that a lot of us would have out of rava, or like a halwa, but in a more liquidy form. So it's like how sorghum was a big deal. So sattu is going to be the next
Also rice kanji.
big deal. Oh yeah, and rice kanji.
But
So
that was the
rice-
Japanese though have always eaten that.
Yeah,
no?
but now it's being sold in New York as like the rice protein drink for detox and fertility.
Rice
and
flour now, no? Because
Yeah.
it's gluten free.
Yeah.
Because now everybody's like, I'm vegan and I'm gluten free. I'm like, okay, great. But it's easy to be vegan. You know,
Yeah.
even then, like,
Absolutely.
all of our diets also so many times, I mean, have been where you, in fact, always said that, you know, eat vegetarian, eat your vegetables.
Yeah.
Sabzi dahi, we had so much for lunch.
Correct.
You know, and that's quite a wholesome meal. I mean, I
course.
still enjoy it. Sometimes I have that for dinner if I'm bored of khichdi and curry. I sometimes just have a bowl of sabzi and dahi and I'm quite full, and it's you know, I think it gives you the right amount of nutrients.
Yes, also because you know dahi really has the right culture for all of the gut microbes that we are looking at, and the next big organ in the medical field is all of the gut ecosystem, because what they're saying is that the microbes, the healthy microbes that we keep in our body is responsible for how our hair look and for how our lips look, for how fat we get, for what kind of diseases we are going to have.
But there is a lot of thing on dahi where people say that don't eat dahi in the night. So, I mean, I don't know, you should clarify that, because I met 2-3 people who've come up to me and told me that, oh, you shouldn't eat dahi in the night. So I'm like, no, but I eat
You
curry.
don't need to listen to anyone's
Yeah, I know.
feedback on anything, you know. Because so dahi, if it's set at home, then you can totally eat it in the night. It's about dahi which has been fermented or something which has gone bad or sour. That's the kind of dahi that you should be avoiding. But even in the day, you don't have to wait for night time to avoid those kind of things. So yeah, I think people come and give
Yeah,
you a
they all
tip.
have their notions, and
Yeah.
everybody makes up their own, you know,
Diet.
mental food plans that this should have in the day, this should not have in the night. And
They also make mental plans about what you must be eating.
yeah, I'm sure that.
I think they come and give you tips because they're fishing for some tips. You know, that
But
they-
now they've got quite a few. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
hears us quite a bit now.
Yeah, that they do.
Yeah.
But I think it sounds so simple that people think we are lying. Through
Yeah,
our
because
teeth.
I think because we follow a simple plan, that's why it's difficult to kind of say, because you're not restricting in the sense you're not saying, okay, you know, don't have the khichdi.
Correct.
Or, you know, have only grilled chicken in the night.
Yeah.
Or have only, you know, whatever, like, you know,
correct.
grilled fish.
Boiled vegetables.
Boiled vegetables with, like, you know,
Or
something.
just a soup.
Yeah, no, that. So then that you need to, you
Yeah.
need to
I
clarify.
think
You've
we
never
are-
given that, in fact.
I think we are like that Kung Fu Panda movie, you know, where it's like the secret is that there is no secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the toughest thing for people to discover.
That's true. And yeah, you should tell them that you're eating your chaklis and one for lunch.
Yeah.
Your snack.
And I'm sending you also.
That's true, that you are.
Yeah.
Which Saif ate up all.
Yeah.
So that was like, oh God.
No, but I'll make more and I'll send you some. So I guess everyone knows what chaklis are, right? I mean, they're a mixture of pulses, deep fried, and that's exactly how we eat them, they're in their true essence. So how can people build the confidence to really just stick to home cooked foods?
No, I mean, I think that most people, especially in India, when you have such good local produce, you have such a variety of vegetables. It's not like you're just eating, like I think abroad it's just like, broccoli and spinach.
Right.
But here you have a variety of vegetables that are accessible, available at, cost-friendly prices. I mean, I think one should experiment with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like whether it's a beetroot sabzi also one day, that's also quite exciting to have with roti, with ghee on it. I think that's the most healthy meal that one can have. So I think ever since we have known each other, I have actually started experimenting with a lot of vegetables at home. And I mean, I can't live my life.
Are great.
Yeah, and I can't live my life just eating broccoli and stuff.
Of course.
No chance.
Right. But what I've seen is invariably when you live in like a building, I've seen that people wait, like women wait to get pregnant, and only after they're pregnant they start taking a walk. Before that they don't even bother about exercise. So don't you think that we should all be eating right and exercising?
No, that I think definitely that is something that one has to do, is being active, exercising, whether even if it's a brisk walk, swimming, whatever's easily doable or accessible is something that I mean that needs to be done. And in fact, we've always said about 30 to 40 minutes a day for whether it's a normal person, a housewife, whatever. I think that is more than enough. But the mobility is important.
Very important, yeah, because it affects our well-being, our productivity. And I think as women we want to be productive on almost every single front of our lives. So yes, it's important that we eat right, that we exercise, also sleep on time.
Yeah, that is something that you've always said.
That continues to be a challenge.
Yeah, that continues now. Well, not for me these days.
No,
I love to sleep early now. I love to sleep at 10:30, 11. But yeah, of course. But Saif is definitely nocturnal. He loves to stay up in the night and watch TV. So that's why he's always messaging you, what can I eat in the night? What can I eat in the night? And I'm like, oh God, she's going to say no. She's going to say, have some, glass of milk. He's like, no, she has to give me something to eat. And it's now such different things now he comes up with. So yeah, I guess that is one thing that is for extreme weight loss, for maintaining your body, for maintaining, your, like you said, your entire well-being. I think, 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours is very important at the right time of night.
Correct. Because all the right hormones, like the human growth hormone or even the hormone that actually regulates our blood sugar, everything is released at that time in the night, almost like 10:30 in the night to about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So I guess we have to work at optimizing our sleep during that time.
Absolutely.
Good. So which has been your favorite laddu?
Well, I think I have been I'm trying all kinds, the suji and besan and pinni ka laddus and all.
Yes.
I'm enjoying it. If it's coming from my friends' homes, it's made in my home, then I don't mind.
Correct.
But obviously, I'm not like definitely purchasing it from out and eating it. That no.
Correct. And what do you think about this whole notion about women thinking that something needs to change if they're pregnant? They should either not. I mean, I've seen this a lot of times, even before pregnancy. We think that this is my life, this is my work, and somehow I need to strike a balance between my work and life, versus really thinking that work is an integral part of my life. I guess similarly, when one is pregnant, life can just go on like a regular thing, right? Or does?
Of course, I think that's the most important. You feel more normal when you do normal things.
Correct.
You start feeling, different and abnormal and slightly, like then when you're bloated, depressed, when you're, actually not doing the normal things that you do in your life. And that's what I've always tried to do, is just, keep it as the most normal progression that's taking place.
Absolutely, because just a few minutes ago someone was asking me, so what is Kareena doing now to keep up with all of the odd hours? I said, she's always been keeping these kind of long working hours So all that she's doing now is eating right, which is also something that she was already doing. So, you know, it's just a natural thing. She's taking everything in her stride. So
Absolutely. I think that is the most important thing, is doing that. And of course, if I want to indulge one day and, you know, I'm indulging in a few things, that's also the most normal thing to happen.
Of course, yeah.
And you're kind of just, you know, following what your body is asking for. I think that's the most important thing, is your body knows best.
Correct.
And reacts best to everything. So we should just, you know,
Listen
be
to
in
the
tune
stomach.
with that.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people are not in tune because they just don't pay attention to themselves.
Yeah, of course. They're just like, you know, going on and thinking that it's fine. If you're pregnant, you can afford to, like, you know, eat like a pizza every day. Yeah, which is,
Eat now, lose weight later.
Yeah, that's the thought. No?
Yeah.
No. That can't be the thought with us.
Yeah, no. So, you know, have you seen this, that people are always in a hurry to eat?
Yeah, of course. That now, I guess because they're so hungry at that particular time that it's just like, you know, let's finish this off now.
Right.
And that's why they, you know, kind of eat more than consume more
what is
food than what is, you know,
Yeah.
required.
So, would this then be a good time for us to, like, tell the world what our mental meal map is all about?
I think so, no?
Because otherwise a lot of people like keep feeling that, okay, we are saying eat everything,
Yeah.
so what's really eat in the right amount, and a lot of times we don't eat the right amount because we are too rushed. We are too rushed. We never really plan. We are not educated about how to really figure what's the right amount for ourselves. So should we do it right now? We should do it now, and then we take questions later.
I'm gonna bring it here to show.
Yeah. So step one is really visualize how much you want to eat. So first think about how much you want to eat. And step two is start with serving yourself half of what you think you want to eat. And then take double the time to eat that half than what you typically take. So if you usually finish your food in 5 minutes, take 10 minutes. Chew your food slowly, and at the end of it, if you're still hungry, you just start from step one, and that's how you'll end up feeling energetic and light. So this is really very basic, but we felt that if we put it like an infographic, it will become easier for everyone to understand.
Yeah.
So do you like this?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it simple enough?
Yeah, it's quite simple. No?
Yeah. Something about Indian food is that when we were trying to make this, we tried looking up pictures on the internet, and then the only pictures that they have on the internet are about soups and salads and the Western meals. We don't even have a proper Indian meal representation, like a regular meal. Or else it's like this full-blown thali, which has like 25-30 things. But it's not like a regular meal, so I clicked this picture myself.
This is what you eat normally.
Yeah. And what you also eat.
Yeah, this is our normal kind of lunch and dinner.
So you should autograph this so that
Of course.
if you want to watch, you can
Yeah.
do it here.
So what should I?
Love and fresh eating. That's lovely. Good. And we should maybe call the school girl to get it. So Disha, you should come and take this for your school. Thank you. Yeah, we can clap if you want. Good. So would you like to take some questions?
Yeah,
From
whatever.
the audience, or should we take them from here?
You can start with the
We
audience.
should start with the audience. Okay. So any questions from the audience? Yes.
Talk about any exercise as of during pregnancy. Of course, walking is there.
Yeah,
And
I think there's yoga, which I've always loved, and that must continue. And that, I try to do at least twice a week. Of course, sometimes if your body feels that you can't do it, then one should not push it. But I think yoga and walking are two exercises which, pregnant, not pregnant, I think this is the answer to you know, a lot of things, because I have at least, you know, always done that. These two things.
That shows being normal again.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I also think that she almost started a full industry of yoga, because before Kareena, hardly anyone was doing yoga, and now everyone wants to become a yoga instructor.
Yeah, yoga and that, yeah, of course.
And everyone wants to become a
cardio is,
dietitian
I
also.
think, yes, it is important.
Yeah.
You do say that. And a little bit of weights interspersed, which actually you always tell me that it's important to kind of do that. And changing up the routine and the exercise is also a good call.
Yeah. So I was telling her that, you know, she started a multi-million-dollar industry in the whole yoga world, because a lot of people are now like, yeah, I want to become a yoga teacher.
Yeah, now everybody's a yogi.
Yeah.
In Bombay, it's like everyone. Anybody who does 10 Surya Namaskars is claiming that they're a teacher.
Yeah. And anyone who's bored with what they're doing has become a dietitian.
Oh, it's become a
So yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So now that you work out, like you go to the gym, you do cardio and all that, is the intake of protein good for your body?
I think so. The right amount of protein is important.
So I'm talking about the protein powder that comes, or are you talking about the natural protein that you get from
No,
the
I
food?
eat only natural protein. I don't I've never had protein powders. In fact,
Also, what are those types?
well, there's so many there. We can eat paneer. I have a lot of curd. I have milk.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things like that which are locally available. But a powder is something that I don't think, because I don't think we're lifting as such heavy weights for me to consume that protein powder. And in fact, it's never really suited me. So we've
Yeah.
never incorporated
So
it
we
in my
work
diet.
at like sticking to what suits.
Yeah.
But also, you know, we've been in a very flawed way in schools taught that only these things have protein and the other things don't have protein. So we are only looking at maybe meat or maybe pulses or only milk and milk products. But the truth is that there is protein in every single thing. So like I told you, even in New York, the current rage is this rice drink, because the rice has protein. But in India, if you say rice, people are thinking carbohydrate, because that's how we were taught in schools.
Yeah.
So it's high time we even switch our mentality from thinking just protein, carbohydrate and fat, and think wholesome, fresh food, because that's our best chance of getting not just protein but also all of the vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients and everything that nutrition science has not even discovered till now.
Some online questions?
Oh.
You can
Yeah.
So, Rujita, I've been following your work for about, say, 4 to 5 years now. And I eat exactly according to it. It's changed my life in a lot of ways. Not that I was overweight, but I was always underconfident. And this has sort of helped me eat right. But only recently, about 3 months back, I've moved to Australia. So I'm finding it difficult to find the same kind of vegetables I love and I'm used to eating. And so I see all these water leaf beets and spinach, and it's different. I find like bhindi sometimes, but so is it that we, like what I think is that we prepare it in the Indian style, whatever I find there in the farmers markets. Apart from that, is there anything I could look at to sort of make sure that, you know, I don't cook, like I don't do packaged foods, I don't do processed, I don't.
Congratulations if you're living in Australia and not doing packaged and processed foods. That's great. See, what I always feel about about Indians living in the West is that we should stick to the grains and pulses that we have grown up eating, because they can travel and they can stay fresh, and we stick to the local vegetables and fruits. So keep your vegetables and fruits because they're highly perishable, you know, like the way you're doing it, you know, buy it at the farmer's market and cook it exactly the way you like to cook it. So you don't really have to just steam them and blanch them and eat them. So you do like the full tadka and eat them like the way she does it. Yeah.
Hi, Rajita, I just finished your book, reading your book, Don't Lose or Work Out. And then I realized that all the notions that we have for gymming and things like that, lifting weights and all is all crap, what we have been hearing so far. So I've recently enrolled for one of the gyms in my locality. Now I'm also planning for the second child. Now I'm in a state of confusion as to how can I continue gymming and lifting weights after I conceive.
After you conceive, you're
Even
worried
after
about So should I do that? Should I not do that?
Well, you know, the news is that Olympic records have been broken by women in all stages of their menstrual cycle, okay, before, during and after, because even before we get pregnant we worry about what can I do, I have my periods, should I not exercise, should I not go to work. So Olympic records have been broken at every single stage, and you know, a lot of times we read about doping scandals in Olympics. You know, people take substances and dope to perform better. So one of the secret methods of doping to enhance one's performance was, until like 1960s, 1970s, getting the female athlete pregnant. So if you got the female athlete pregnant, she would actually be much higher in her strength, in her stamina, and she would perform better at her sport. So if Olympians were getting pregnant as a way of doping, you surely don't need to quit exercise just because you got pregnant or because you've delivered. But like she's saying, that one has to have the intelligence of really listening to one's body on any given day, but I guess just that much more when you're pregnant. When you're not feeling up to workout, have the confidence to take a easy day. When you're feeling up to exercise and you know, you feel that today I can maybe do a little more, do a little more on those days. So listen to yourself, engage with trainers who also work at listening to you and your body versus you listening to their plan of it. Yeah, so just that change of mind I think needs to come, and also this awareness needs to come that pregnancy, post-pregnancy is a natural physiological phase, something that we don't need to worry about. Getting pregnant is not the same as getting an inflammation, you know, so we can just go on with our lives. Yes.
So maximum questions online about how come you're glowing so much lately? So what are you doing during pregnancy?
Always glows.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's, I think it's just like, I don't know, maybe it's also a combination of the ghee and being happy.
And being you.
Yeah, that's the combination now of it. And eating local, eating right, eating healthy food, eating food that I've grown up eating. Nothing has changed, you know. I mean, no cravings as such, no overindulging is something that I'm really refraining from, but enjoying it. Like my paratha has to happen.
Oh, of course.
That is not going to happen. I've not had it today for breakfast, so I'm having it for dinner. That is a must.
But I remember you also saying that, you know, your grandmother has great skin. And
Yeah,
that,
she
you
has
know,
amazing skin.
Yeah, and she's always been eating.
Yeah,
ghee.
she's 86 and ever since she's been a baby, she's been eating ghee till today. And
I
she's quite
guess
fit,
that's
so.
where the whole Kapoor genes come from ghee.
Yeah, of course, that is. But some of them are also overweight because they eat this much. So I'm not going to say that you should eat that much. I was talking about a pinch of it.
Another question is that what are you planning to do to get back in shape after pregnancy?
Oh God, I think that now Rujuta has to set a killer plan.
Yeah.
That's now she has to figure it out that how we're going to do it. It will be tough, I'm sure, but
It will be easy for you. Nothing is tough.
yeah, it'll be yeah. I think it's going to be more or less around the same things that we've changing my pattern severely so much now. I think it's only because it'll be easier then to kind of go back to, you know, your normalcy. Because if I would, yeah, of course, change up things and, you know, of course, be eating pizza and burgers every day,
Right.
you know, then I think it would be difficult. But if you're like eating home cooked meals, if you're eating, you know, like what I've been eating for the last 5-7 years, I don't think it should be that difficult.
Yeah. Tashan's almost, I think, 10 years ago. 2007
Yeah,
is when we first started working together.
Yeah.
And
I think you will not go out of shape.
I think she's already in shape.
Yeah, no, I think there
Women
are
don't need to-
little bit there will be, but that's because, I mean, of course, that, you know, with a lot more, maybe some sort of, you know, change in exercise and
And a killer plan.
this meal plan, because maybe now I'm eating the first part, but that's a lot. So it's fine.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, for everyone who's watching her online, she's already in shape, you know. So if she's in shape while she's pregnant, she's going to be in shape even post her pregnancy. And she was in good shape even before she got pregnant. I think that's something that most people have to realize.
Yeah.
That one doesn't have to get out of shape and then in shape based on every physiological landmark, you know. I mean, today I'm pregnant, tomorrow I'm lactating, a few years later I'm going to menopause, but irrespective, one needs to stay in good shape at all times so that we are able to take these physiological landmarks in our stride versus really becoming victims of it.
Absolutely.
Another question, have you thought of your baby's name?
I want to answer that.
Just imagine, and I'm definitely going to put it online. I haven't thought of anything. It's so early to be thinking about all this right now, you know.
But she was just telling me that the media has planned for her baby shower, the baby, the name of the baby what school your baby will go to.
Everything. So I mean, I don't need to really do anything. Yeah, so then I'm just going to chill and sit back and relax and let everybody else do the thing.
Yeah. So yes, there's a question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, is there a replacement of any kind for Dahi? Because it seems I have an allergy, and because I tried eating it again and the doctor said don't eat anything sour or don't eat anything khatta. So I did not realize that Dahi is the thing that is giving me inflammation. Can anything replace Dahi? Because I really loved it.
You know, see, there are many things that can replace dahi, but you should also first know for sure that it is really dahi, you know. So if it's home set curd, and if it's like that whole 8-hour curd, you know, where you set it and then you eat it within 8 hours, it should be safe. However, if you think that that's not something that is suiting you, you can look at eating more dals, pulses, more wholesome meals. Maybe if curry suits you, you know, so you can make room for receiving all your nutrients without really hampering the natural responses of your body. Yeah.
My question is more for Karina. So I understand the whole healthy eating and eating home cooked food, but considering the lifestyle that you have, I'm sure you would be going out a lot and socializing. So what do you do then? Because that's when the temptation is a lot more. You see interesting food.
No, I mean, I'm very normal. I do go out and eat a Chinese meal.
Yeah, that's the question. So you eat that?
Yeah, of course, I don't have to tell Rujita about it. But that's fine. No, I can't carry my dabba. That is not possible. Then if I'm going out to eat a pizza or I'm going out to eat a Chinese meal, I'm going to go and do it. It's as normal as, I mean, I'm as normal.
You know, you're with a group of people and then suddenly you can't say, I'm going to eat just this and not.
No, of course not.
See,
But
I think one of the reasons why she's, you know, following the diet, which has essentially been a part of her lifestyle since 2010, now so it's almost like 10 years, is because it is something that blends into her lifestyle. You know, she's now educated about what is it that she can and she should be eating when she steps out for a meal. What does she eat regularly when she's working, or, you know, when she's at home or at shoots and stuff. So the minute you start doing something which socially makes you feel alienated, oh, I can only eat this and I cannot eat that, then you're not going to be on that diet for more than 2 days or a week at the most. So the success of a diet really lies in its sustainability. It's almost like picking up a partner or picking up a job, you know. Do something that you love doing, then you can work for the rest of your life, then you can be with those people for the rest of your life. I think the same goes with food, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, learn to strike that balance and not obsess about healthy
How do you
eating.
do that? That's good. So when there are like 10 things in front of you, so you would end up eating them. Right?
Well, like she said, eat the 3 things, you know.
So out of those, you just become no.
Sometimes I eat everything. But of course, I mean, you know, now you learn the art of, you know, kind of eating lots of the rice with the vegetables. It's a combination of things, you know, that you pick up. And generally, I mean, you know, it's always like, if we're going out, you know, nobody really goes out to eat an Indian meal because there's no better Indian food. So it's always going to be like, you know, Italian or something. So then it's always, I opt for that, even if it's mainly a pasta, I just tell them to put a lot of veggies in it, and I eat it like that. I mean, I can't stop my life in any which way. It has to be as normal. But obviously then the next meal is a home cooked meal.
And why do some people keep saying that avoid Chinese when you're eating out, in pregnancy specifically, because it has a lot of Ajinomoto? Is it really true? Like,
I don't know if it affects. I don't know, but I mean, if I'm craving Chinese, I'm going to eat it.
I just think that, you know, when you are pregnant, just eat at places where you've always been eating.
Yeah.
Maybe don't really try out a new place. You know.
but it's okay then. So
Yeah, I mean, because you know what suits you, what doesn't suit you. It's the
But
same
even the amount of
things.
Ajinomoto that goes in it, by the time it reaches the bloodstream and it goes to, I think, affect the child is a lot. So these are over paranoid people with a lot of information on the net, which, you know, if you do Google something, there is going to be, there are 1,000 explanations out there. So, I mean, you have to kind of, you know what kind of suits you. And if you've always eaten Chinese food for, like, you know, 30 years of your life, I mean, you know, if you have, there's absolutely nothing wrong in eating it. And it's not like you're going to eat so much, you know. So you do eat this much. So now in this much, if there's a little bit of soy, or I'm sure it's, you know, it's okay. You're not eating for the whole restaurant.
Yeah, you know, like how anorexia was a term that they coined for people who are very, very scared of like food and stuff. So they now have something called as orthorexia, which is for people who are obsessed about healthy eating. So they're only eating things which are healthy and then not eating anything else at all, and then it actually affects their quality of life. So like anorexia, obsession with eating right is also a disease, you know. I mean, it has to become, there has to be a balance, it has to be a part of your life. It's like how we brush our teeth, not because we want sparkling white teeth, but for basic hygiene. Similarly, for basic health and well-being, we should be eating right and not obsessing about it.
Absolutely. That's very nicely put.
No, thank you. So, yeah.
In a lot of your talks and chats, you've been talking about cane sugar. So that, you know, I'm a little bit confused about, is it just a normal sugar? Is it a different kind of sugar? Is it jaggery what you're talking about? So
I'm talking about sugar which is derived from sugarcane, and the reason why I called it cane sugar is because now in the West, you know, they have so many different kinds of sugars that they call the sugar which is derived from sugarcane as cane sugar, so that people understand that this is a healthier option to go into your chai and coffee versus sweeteners or versus the other sugars that are available. Yes, but see, it's like this, that if it's winters, then you rather stick to jaggery. If it's summers, then you stick to the more sugar forms, you know, like the way I described it in Indian superfoods. So, yes. You have like maybe one...
No, there's a lot of questions which have already been answered.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so something that you would like to say?
I think that it's just been, I mean, of course, this is the first interaction on Facebook Live, and, you know, with sitting with people and just having a impromptu chat on, like, you know, food and things that I believe in and things that I am following. And I hope in some way that, you know, all, you know, lots of young girls over there do, because some of them just are literally starving themselves to, you know, get the six-pack abs. But I think life is not about that, you know. Life is not about, like, yeah, of course everyone wants a great body and everyone wants to look great, but if you can do it with, you know, the right help, if you can do it with the right foods, if you can do it with also a glowing skin and with removing those fears of, like, you know, not eating ghee or not eating, you know, a paratha, I think, you know, that's greater than having a six-pack.
Yes, I think that's a big statement. You know, before we go, I just had one question. How do you always have like this great vision for, you know, for business? How do you make sure that you have this razor sharp mind? Because it was Karina who even suggested, like, way back in 2007 that I should be writing a book. And I always thought it was a joke until I actually wrote one in 2009. It was also her idea that we do a session like this, you know, a full web chat.
Yeah, that's what I said. No, because I think that this is the best way, because I'm not on social media.
Correct, yeah.
So for people to know, you know, about healthy eating, fresh eating, the right kind of eating, you know, through different phases of life, there would be no other way. They would, of course, have to wait for the book to come out, which will have a lot more information. But if, you know, one could interact with fans and people through, you know, social media, because since I'm not on it, people are keen to know.
Correct, yeah.
So I think this was the best way that I could have done it.
Yeah, but it's gotten, got the internet by fire. I think everyone wants to know like more and more. So, you want to announce when we're doing the next 2 talks?
Yeah, I think that, of course, I think the biggest announcement is, of course, the book that, I think everybody all around the globe, everyone, wherever I go, is like, I'm reading Rujita's book. I'm reading Rujita's book. I'm like, yeah, read her book and follow it also. That's the most important. And now, you are going to be penning another book on pregnancy and pregnancy foods, and which I think that, you're always coming up with topics which are answering so many questions of so many women and so many people out there. I think this one is going to be truly even more special.
Yeah, because you're also going to be writing the
as usual, of course, that goes without saying, and it's a very, I think it's a very important, informative, essential part of every woman's life. So
absolutely.
This topic, this book, I think will be even more special than, don't lose your mind, lose your weight. Which I think is still the bestseller, no?
Yes, it's still the bestseller. Good. So I think we were mostly planning for the second part of this talk sometime in November. We are thinking maybe mostly 14th November, 14th Feb for the concluding talk. And what we plan to do, because this time she released the mental meal map. So in our 14th Feb talk, we are going to be talking about pulses. The 14th November talk, we are going to be talking about pulses that women can eat in every trimester of their pregnancy. Because UN has also declared 2016 as the year of pulses, because pulses really work at keeping the biodiversity intact. They feed the poor. They also look after the diseases of the rich like blood pressure and diabetes and the like. So we are going to be talking about that on 14th November. We'll be releasing an infographic similar to this on pulses, because we are also inspired by the UN. You're an UN ambassador.
Yeah, do a lot for UNICEF and for girl children. And that's something, it's a great thing. It's going to be an interesting, obviously, topic. But I think everybody's very excited about the final outcome.
Yeah, the final outcome. Just one question and we end, sorry.
I've heard that you will be writing a book for the children.
Yeah.
That's why I'm more interested in books. I want to implement for her. From the beginning only she should be following. I actually give her example of Rujita and Karina. So she's more interested in avoiding Domino's and Mac, and she's just loving Varan Bhat Toop. So that's what she's following, because Karina eats Toop. So looking forward to have a book on children.
Yeah, I planned to
in between.
Then you got pregnant and now the plans changed.
So then later, but I'm sure Rujita will come out with that could be another.
That will be another book. The child.
Never know. So
so we're doing the pregnancy one first, and then later we'll be talking about children books. Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
It's been wonderful,
informative, and so I'm so happy that I could come.
I'm so happy. You want to say bye to them, or before?
Thank you so much for tuning in, and of course there'll be a lot more information on keeping all you lovely women and lovely girls out there healthy, fit. Hope to inspire a lot of you all through these chats that we're having, and thank you for just having so much faith in, I think, us together.